Welcome to the Back to Me podcast, where we help multicultural incoming freshman women and men manage their entire college experience throughout post-graduation to successfully transition into entrepreneurship and corporate workspaces as new hires.
Back to me. Oh, I turned it around. I'm back to me. I finally figured it out. I'm back to me. So when you think you have nothing, back to me. I go back to me. Yeah, I'm back to me.
Hello, everyone. It's your host, Yoli Tamu. As we wrap up Getting Financially Fit for Financial Literacy Month, we are joined by the state of Utah's Policy and Communications Deputy, Brittany Griffin. Utah was one of the top states for bankruptcy and debt many years ago. As a result, policymakers decided to mandate financial literacy for its graduating high school students. Finance in the Classroom is an online resource that was formed with students in mind. Today, many educators and community members use this website for its valuable information. Find out what national organizations Ms. Griffin recommends for you to partner with in your state to improve your financial habits and learn how these resources are making a huge difference in the financial lives of students across the country. Enjoy. I'm so excited as we wrap up Financial Literacy Month to have with us a woman that has so much information, and I can't wait to get in this conversation about financial literacy. She is the Policy and Communications Deputy for the state of Utah. Miss Brittany Griffin, how you doing?
Doing really well. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you for being with us. I was referred to you by Brecken, and she's over at Financial Classroom. And of course, you're going to tell us about that. But I was just so excited to have you from the state. I mean, we're getting some real resources today. I appreciate you.
Excited to share them.
Yes. So now as we get into this, Financial Classroom is something that I went on a hunt and found and discovered great information on that site. And I wanted to know, why was that created? Why was the Financial Classroom created?
Yeah. So back in the early 2000s, Utah was one of the top states for bankruptcy and debt. And this created a lot of concern for financial experts and community leaders who were really worried about the future economic prosperity of Utahns. So these individuals joined forces with policymakers to establish the nation's first financial education high school graduation requirement, and also to formally bring together organizations that shared that same mission to improve Utah's financial wellness. So the graduating class of 2008 was the first group of high school students to take this one semester general financial literacy course in order to graduate. Local and national studies have found that students who take financial literacy have greater financial knowledge and then improved behaviors throughout their lifetime. So this is really important. So kind of as a result of that initiative and that graduation mandate, Finance in the Classroom was created as a resource to help teachers pull together their lesson plans. So under the direction of the State Board of Education, so that's who Brecken's with, a group of teachers came together and they designed a matrix using some of the principles that were outlined in legislation to help teach these financial concepts at each grade level. So on the website, you'll see lessons, activities, PowerPoints, videos, books, there's music, and even other resources to really help these teachers teach financial literacy. Now, admittedly, since it was created, it's become very outdated. It's still a widely utilized resource, both within the state of Utah and nationally. So it's become a huge priority for our office in partnership with our State Board of Education to update that website and incorporate some of the more recent resources so that our teachers and teachers across the country can have a place to go to. And not even just teachers, we find community members going to this website to access this important financial information. So we're really motivated to update this website so that it continues to serve as a relevant resource.
Well, hey, I look forward to seeing this update, because what's there now is fantastic. It is fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, when I looked at the 11th grade and 12th grade budgeting and money management, I was like, this is so great, and it's a K through 12 setup. So I'm looking forward to what it's going to look like later on. So I'm
But
excited.
it's kind of fun because a lot of those concepts that are on there, the matrices on there, are mandated within that state statute. And, we built upon that. But we're seeing similar trends across the country. So similar guidelines are being adopted nationally, within each state to help teach these important concepts.
So Utah is the first state in the country
Mhm.
to implement this and set this up. That's amazing. Now, who or what motivated you to just teach this subject matter, to even think this was necessary?
So that kind of goes back to that early history. It's really embarrassing, being number one in the nation, number one or two or three, for several years for bankruptcy and debt. That's very concerning and created alarm, among the community of economists and financial advisors and then legislators to address this issue for the future economic prosperity of Utah. So, that was a huge motivating force for us. And I think that it's paid off.
Absolutely. You guys got busy and started making classes happen. That's great. Now, why do you think it's important? I mean, we know as adults that financial literacy becomes important when we're trying to buy homes and, live our lives. But why do you think it's so important for a young person right now?
So I think that, from a high level, we're seeing several alarming trends right now, even more so than ever before. Consumer debt's an all-time high of $16.9 trillion. That's up 1.3 trillion from last year and astoundingly up 4.2 trillion from the peak that was reached during the 2008 global financial crisis. That should highlight how big of an issue this is. We're talking student loan debt. This is something that very directly impacts a lot of young adults. Those debt levels have reached a staggering $1.8 trillion this year, and we're seeing that continue to grow. That, impacts young Americans' ability to purchase a home and start a family. We're also seeing, this other consumer debt weighing heavily on the shoulders of young Americans and Americans as a whole. Almost half of Americans last year said that they had enough savings to cover a $1,000 emergency room visit or car repairs. So, we're talking, not a very big incident could really set people back or cause, serious issues in somebody's life. But, optimistically, like we're seeing that just giving our young people these resources makes a huge difference. Giving them the knowledge and access to resources to know how to make decisions, financial decisions is really important. So 2018 study by the National Endowment for Financial Education, they're a great group. I encourage you to look into them. But that study found that graduates of high schools with that financial education course were 21% less likely to carry a balance on a credit card while they're in college and also to submit a FAFSA. So, just having that information is influencing behaviors, starting young. And our young people are having to make these really important life changes right out of high school to make sure that they have the information and resources that they need. We're also seeing that, equipping them with this information makes them far less likely to fall prey to some high cost predatory loans and to look for other healthier solutions to navigating some of these financial challenges that come in young adulthood and, throughout your life.
Yeah. Now, you and we spoke before, and you actually are a teacher as well, of sorts.
Of sorts.
Yes. And you told me that you taught fourth grade entrepreneurship. My
Yes.
goodness.
So we partner with several nonprofit organizations, and one of those organizations is Junior Achievement. So we have great people here in Utah from Junior Achievement who provide lesson plans for volunteers to go out into schools, starting elementary school all the way up to high school, and teach them these prepared financial literacy lessons. So yesterday I got to go meet with a fourth grade class here in Salt Lake and talk to them about entrepreneurship and starting a business and getting them thinking about their future in ways that, they might not if they didn't have somebody from the community coming in and providing this information to them.
That's so great. It's like it's changing the conversation instead of, I'm going to go to school to be a doctor or a lawyer. You're going to go to school to be in business for yourself.
Yeah.
How great is that? That's incredible. So now with junior achievement, they assist all grade levels into college as well, or just K through 12?
It's usually K to 12, and it's set up, I think, a little bit differently in each state. So check out the junior achievement within your state. Here in Utah, it's really cool. We have what's called a junior achievement city, where our fifth grade students can go for a day and participate in a mock economy. So they're taking on different jobs and seeing how to spend money and running a government. And it's a really cool program to see. So they have various programs like that to help instill values of saving and, thinking about your job starting young.
Mm-hmm. I think those mock experiments are everything. I was telling you that I just came back from a college tour, and for the most part, they created a job, and whether you were married or not, and gave you some income, and it just caused the students to think about, wow, maybe I need a better job, or maybe I need to get more degrees. Did you feel that there were conversations like that were happening?
Oh, yeah. It's really cool and really fun to be a part of those critical conversations. The school I was in yesterday was a Title I school. So, instilling some of these different job opportunities or business opportunities in young people who may not have that exposure otherwise is just really cool to be a part of.
Absolutely. Well, good for you for going in there and teaching a class.
Yeah. I'm not a teacher by trade. So, it's a little bit of a stretch for me, but it was very, very rewarding experience.
That's great. We're all teachers at heart. Believe me, we've got lessons to share. So now I'm just thinking about takeaways from what you're saying. It sounds like, our listeners need to, number one, go look into their state, right? For some of this information.
Yeah, so I'd say that's, the first really big takeaway from our conversation is see what's being done to teach personal finance within your state. Similar to our office here in the Utah Office of State Treasurer, many state treasurers' offices across the country have some sort of financial education function. So I'd start there. They're a good source to point you to other resources within your state and to see where your state's at with offering a financial education course within your K to 12 system. So start there. Second, I'd say, take some courses yourself. There are so many resources available, many free online to help improve your financial capability. We have several listed on our website, Treasurer.Utah.gov, while we're working to rebuild and revamp our Finance in the Classroom website, which will be an even better resource, once we're done with that process. So great place to start to look for some of those resources. But, I've seen similar resources posted or shared by treasurers' offices across the country. So, look there. And then third, kind of building off of what we just talked about, volunteer in your schools. See if there's ways for you to get involved with organizations like Junior Achievement or Jumpstart and help teach students about personal finance. I'm not myself an expert on entrepreneurship, but yesterday I got to deep dive in that using the lesson plan that they created. And I actually learned a lot myself while helping teach the students. So it was a wonderful experience. And I think that most adults and young adults would learn a lot and, help influence our next generation as well. So highly recommend that.
Yeah, I like that you're emphasizing student volunteership because that's important. Even as a college student, they can come right on back to high school and help the young people. That's
Yep.
great.
High school and grade schools. And you're building skills yourself. And it's just a great opportunity to give back and also to learn.
Now, you mentioned Jumpstart. What is Jumpstart?
So Jumpstart is kind of a national and local coalition that works to advance financial education. So our Jumpstart Coalition was an integral partner in developing Finance in the Classroom and our graduation requirement. So they have a wealth of resources as well. Another great nonprofit organization. You can check them out online.
And that's a nationwide program?
Yep, nationwide. And then they have state offices as well. So we have a Utah Jumpstart Coalition that's focused more on state resources, but is connected into that national coalition.
All right. Well, this was great. I just didn't know I was going to hear that you were teaching fourth graders. How cool.
It's so fun.
And you know why it's so important? Because you're just hearing nowadays that when it comes to college, they're looking at elementary students as early as third grade to see if they're going to even make it into college. So that's why I think it's so important what you're doing and have done.
And I think that, when you're young, you start picturing yourself as an adult and, depending on what information you have, the possibilities that you can see, that can make a huge difference as you grow up.
Absolutely. So now this has been so good. And I always wrap up with final words of encouragement for our listeners. And I'm just thinking, what are some words of encouragement for that young person that is just seeking to save and invest, even with all this debt that is out here?
So I'd start, as you're entering into your first careers, take advantage of retirement packages that your employers offer. If you're thinking about starting a family someday, consider 529 tax advantaged investment account to help fund higher education for your future children. Creating a diversified portfolio will help your money grow over the long term. The younger you start, the more potential you have to grow your money. So start now, enlist the help of a professional. There's a lot of great resources out there. I'd also encourage there's so many different books and courses and resources out there that will help you learn to manage your money. So take advantage of some of those and, start now. You're never too young to start saving and investing and starting to build these positive financial habits to set you up for a secure financial future.
It's never too late. Absolutely.
Never too late or too early.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So this is such great information. So now if they wanted to come to your site or even maybe your social media, do you have an IG account that they can go check out?
Yeah. So we're on almost all social media platforms at Utah Treasurer. So you can follow us there. You can also check out our Treasurer's Office website. Again, that's Treasurer.Utah.gov while we're working to rework the Finance in the Classroom website. And then that website is financeintheclassroom.org. And, a lot of great information on there now. Admittedly, it's pretty outdated, but, within the next couple of months, we'll have that reworked and even more resources on there.
Mm-hmm. This is so good. Well, once again, thank you for being on with us. It's a pleasure to have the State Treasurer's Office with us. And I look forward to, seeing your website improve and that we have more of a conversation around financial literacy in the schools.
Thank you so much. It's great being on with you.
All right. You take care. We'll talk soon.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us. Plan, diversify, and learn to save now. Your future will thank you. For more information about other episodes, remember to subscribe to the Back to Me podcast, College and Beyond. I'm your host, Yoli Tamu. Leave a review at the end of this podcast, and if you would like to learn more about other special events, join the Back to Me podcast Facebook group, or simply text Back to Me to 833-206-4565. Until next time, be well.